Good morning, everybody. My name is Corey Rosen, and you're listening to the Story Podcast. Today, I have on a super awesome guest, Mr. Javier Sandoval. Javier is a native of Littlestown, Pennsylvania, and he started as a concert band drummer who couldn't read music, so he made his own. He is now the owner of Sandoval's Lawn and Landscaping, co-founder of Audio and Visual Entertainment, and is the eccentric, energetic frontman of Head or Tails Experience, who lives for the funky feelings felt in the music that he and his band of brothers make. Javier, how you doing today?
Pretty good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. So tell me, where did the beginning of your love of music start? You said you were a concert band drummer. Is that where it kind of started for you, or?
Well, I mean, I've always really liked music. As a child, I watched a Blues Brothers movie with my parents. Hey, it's a lot of fun. I like the Blues Brothers. You know, took some photos and like as a little kid in like a telephone booth with my brother, and singing on a little microphone at family parties. And I was like, just like music. That's pretty much where I got started. And really, I started like really like I did a concert band and stuff like that. But where I really started to get into music was when I started to understand like the flow state, to be
Mm.
like in the moment, making things on the spot. And I really did that for the first time where like we were hanging out at my house with like a group of friends. We were gonna we wanted to like leave my house so we could go to my friend's house and like get his Xbox and bring it back so we could play. But we're like, my mom doesn't want us leaving the house. So we're like, hey, let's like just record us sitting here talking, playing a guitar, and then we'll record like 15 minutes of it and then play it back. So it sounds like we're in
That's
the
so
living room. Yeah.
funny.
And we just started like doing that stuff. And I was just singing and improvising stuff with my brother playing guitar. And I was like, hey, this is a lot of fun. And it's funny. And our friends liked it. And then we just get together like on the weekends and do that. And that's how I really got into music, honestly.
And so, is that where when did you start taking that kind of thing seriously? Then.
Um, it took a little while. Like I was in a couple of tribute bands and we would do like covers like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine. And I did
Mhm.
that for like 5 years. And that's where I got like front man experience talking to the crowd and stuff like that. And meanwhile, my brother was trying to start a band, the Heads or Tails Experience. And he did it with like his classmate and one other friend. And they were trying to put stuff together. And I was like, I don't know if I want to get involved in all that. And then they're like, well, we need a drummer. And I was like, well, I can drum a little bit. I was in concert band and I can drum, had a drum set. So I started drumming. And then, it's like, hey, maybe I should sing. Like I've been practicing front manning, so I might as well do that. And
Mhm.
now here we are. But
And so, what is exactly the Heads or Tails Experience? How did that name come about? I'm curious about that.
honestly, I think my brother came up with a name, but we were thinking like heads or tails, like a coin toss or
Mhm.
whatever. And we're like, okay, maybe like our logo could be like a coin or something like that. And it's sort of evolved now to where like I say sometimes like when we improv and stuff, that's how like we make new music. Sometimes it's really good, or it's like heads, and sometimes it's tails. But they don't like me saying that, but it's true. Not everything's gonna be a golden egg.
Every time you improvise, sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes it's tails. So it's heads or tails experience. And it's an experience because it's a journey
Mm.
that we as musicians and the audience are going on.
So tell me, what is it like to transition from a more of a drummer role to a frontman role? What is that experience like for you?
As a drummer, it's like you're sort of in the back. You
Right.
like, you just like you let the guys in the front do all the smiling and stuff. The
You're just
drummer, you're just
you're just a
grooving.
metronome.
Yeah, I'm just the guy in the back keeping the beat. But as the front man, it's like there's more like attention on the front man because he's like
You
singing
can't
and
hide
you
as
can't
frontman.
hide. It's like you're in front of everyone and you got to talk to people, but it's fun.
So you had no issues transitioning, or?
No, because I'd been front manning for my other
Mm.
band and sort of sort of a seamless transition. And then we're like, hey, we're looking for drummers. And we got a drummer, and now here we are.
And how long ago was that?
How long did we get a drummer? How long
How
ago did
long
we?
ago did you guys first start the band, or did you join the band rather?
Um, maybe like 3 years ago, and then we were just like,
You started right before the big thing happened, or right during the pandemic.
yeah, I guess so. We didn't really play out before the pandemic. And a lot of that time was like downtime where we're just like, oh, we can't get together. So a lot of it's like just me and Diego working on. Diego's my brother,
Yeah.
guitar player. But there's a lot of like just us working on stuff, and and then eventually everything started lifting up, and then we're like, hey, let's go play some shows. Let's go do some open mics.
And was this the attire always, or?
No, I didn't used to always wear a suit or some of my crazy. Well, my other outfit is like what I wear when I do landscaping work. So it's like a green shirt. It's like a fisherman shirt, but I wear all that stuff to keep me really cool.
Right, of course.
Yeah, but I wear this stuff as sort of like, I don't know. It's like suit means business, and
Well, no, it's great. I love the suit. The suit, the
Thanks.
handkerchief, the hand square, the
Yeah.
hat, the everything. That it's an incredible outfit.
Thank you. Yeah, it gets a lot of looks. Gets a lot of. It's like it's very eye catching, and that's good. And some people don't like that kind of attention, but I enjoy it because a lot of people then ask questions, and it's a good like conversation starter. Like, oh, what's up with the outfit?
Well, yeah, I am curious. Where did you get like the hat and the hat accessories on?
Well, the hat and the hat, some of the hat accessories, meaning like the little band and stuff. I wanted a like one of these hats, so I was telling my mom, I was like, "Hey, mom, I want to get a nice hat," and she got me a hat for this hat for my birthday, and this is just like a light. Can I turn it on?
Sure.
We'll just flash the camera real quick. It's just a headlamp. It's got like 3 different settings, and my one neighbor like would always walk around at nighttime with the headlamp on, and I was like, I can be more active at night if I get one of these things. So I got that. And then these goggles are they're for like eye protection when I like cut grass. So I don't I don't shoot my eye out.
But it's also like steampunk.
Yeah, but it's also steampunk. I think really they're like Willy Wonka goggles, and they're kind of small. They're like made for a child, but hey, they loosen up over time.
Right. That's awesome. And for the Heads and Tails experience, you guys are like a variety band of like funk, jazz, fusion, stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So, what's the process of writing music for you?
The process for a lot of our songs, a lot of like our first songs, Diego wrote a lot of the original songs because I wasn't in it at first. So
Right.
he wrote like One Day, Don't Want It to End, stuff like that. But as far as like our process now, it's like, hey, let's see what idea exists. Let's like play something and see where it goes. And then we record the whole session. And then it's like, okay, now let's go back and analyze and say, hey, this was good. I like this line. I like this melody, and sort of like rebuild it from there.
Interesting.
I'm not very good at sitting down and writing. I'm not very good at that. And Blake, our drummer, is like, you got to get better. You just gotta do it, man. He really sits me down and makes me do it. But I don't know. I'm not the best at doing that. But I feel like it's something you get better
It's
at.
it's just like every skill. You get better the more you do it.
I'm gonna take my jacket off real quick.
Sure, go for it. It is hot in
It's
here.
a little warm.
Little warm in here.
Trying to break a sweat. Talking too hard.
Yeah, man. So I want to get to a little bit of your band experience before Heads or Tails experience. What was that like for you joining other cover bands as you were slowly transitioning to a frontman in those bands too?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was like very quiet. I was not very loud, and I was like, I always wanted to be a singer. So like I had a little bit of experience, like being in the back. Like my parents had a store, and we'd be in the back of the store, like singing and playing. And my dad's a DJ, so we have like equipment. So I was like sort of used to a microphone, but at first I was not very good. I was not very good at all. And it's like it was a Red Hot Chili Peppers band, so it's like I know like Californication and like Under the Bridge. It's like okay, and then it's like okay, well now I got to learn more songs and practice it and get good and stand in a mirror and record myself and listen back, and it sucks at first. It's like oh, I'm really bad at this thing. But you just gotta get better at it. And same thing with like talking to the crowd. That's something you got to work on too. It's like you need to know how to keep an audience engaged. That's important because like crowd engagement's like very important because if your crowd's not engaged, they're like, doing other things or talking or just
Or
not paying it.
leaving.
Yeah, or leaving. Yeah, or leaving. You know, so that part's really important.
So what do you do to engage the crowd?
Just talk to them.
Just
I like I think there's like things like in the set list that also engage the crowd, like, hey, everybody clap. And then everybody's like clapping or like
Mhm.
get those flashlights out, or we do get up jump, everybody jump. And if you I notice with performance, a lot of it is based around a feeling. So like whatever the performer is feeling, the audience tends to feel too. Maybe not in the same extent, but
It's contagious.
yeah, it's contagious. So like if someone gets up there and they're like nervous and they have a lot of like nervous energy about like there's like a nervous body language.
Mhm.
And if the audience picks up on that, then and I've experienced it, like you almost feel nervous for that person. You're like, oh, ooh, and now you're a little on edge. So like you said, it's contagious. And if you're up there and like you're having fun and enjoying yourself, the audience usually does too.
So is that something you have to like flip a switch in your brain just to be like, okay, I have to be positive, get to go?
Yeah, it was a switch. I mean, I don't know when it switched, but I realized that like it's a lot like I realized like that's the thing about feelings. Is a lot of times like the other person feels what you're feeling.
Mhm.
It's like if you ever like sometimes if you get into like an argument with somebody, the environment gets like very tense. It's like there's maybe like a tightness in the chest. And like when I got into an argument with a friend of mine and like it felt very tense and I felt like tightness in my chest. And like I was just like, hey, do you feel like a tenseness too? Do you feel he's like, yeah. I was like, that was weird how we're both feeling the same thing. Um, so when I really realized like that feelings are something that a lot of times people share, I guess because people are empathetic, I guess.
Well, we're humans. We're very social creatures.
Right. And it's like the body language, the facial expression, and sort of like a shared thing. And when I realized that, it's like, hey, same thing with the audience, it's like they're watching you.
It's incredible the way you can change an audience just based on uh, the famous example is Bill Burr at the Philadelphia just roasting the crap out of
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia and then
Mm-hmm.
getting them on his. I don't know if you've ever seen that
I
performance
see
of
that
him.
one.
Oh, it's incredible. The Philadelphia is just like the maxed out at this festival. Complete. They're not having any of it. They're just mad crowd, the worst crowd you could ever expect. Bill Burr, you know who Bill Burr
Right,
is?
right.
Yeah, the comedian. He comes out there, starts blasting them, and they start
Mm,
giggling and because he's Bill Burr,
yeah,
and he just flips them within like a 10-minute set.
right. A friend of mine, he does some stand-up comedy, and to build off of that, he was saying like when you do stand-up, the audience is almost your enemy.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
like they don't want to laugh at you, but you have to make them laugh.
that's right.
And with music, it's a different approach because it's like with music, people are a little more laid back, they're willing to listen, and they're not always your enemy, but they're almost like along for the ride.
Yeah, it's been said to me in theater, and this I think
Mhm.
this I just made this connection now that it probably connects to musicians too. But in theater, it's often said that the audience is the last member of the ensemble,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Because when a joke lands, they have to laugh.
Right.
When something is incredible, they clap. It makes the performance that much better.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing I'm now realizing for musicians.
Uh-huh.
They're the last member of the band.
Right.
When
That's a good
when
way of putting it.
when the music cuts, they clap. That's
That's their turn.
it's their turn. It's my turn. It's your turn.
Yeah. And that's true too. Like that's the one of the things about live performances when there's an audience, sometimes there's like another level of energy.
Yeah,
Like in practice, we practice like we perform, but when there's an audience there and they're rowdy and they're having a lot of fun, that's
it
contagious too.
adds. Yeah,
Yeah.
it adds so much more. So for you, I'm sure there's been the moment where you're like, I don't want to do this, but I
Mhm.
got it.
Yeah.
What what peps you up? What pep talk do you need, or what is your? All right, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay. What I'm trying to think. I usually don't get like that for like a live performance.
Hmm.
Like normally I'm like, all right, like my friends are here, like some family's here. I'm excited. I finally get to be with my band. We were practicing, like we've been waiting for this moment. So I'm usually excited for that. It's never like, oh, I got to do this show. I can't say I've ever felt like that.
That's good.
The time that I have sort of felt like, oh, I don't want to do this is like during like a rehearsal like of a show, and they're like, all right, guys, let's run the set. Let's play the songs we've played like a million times. It's like, oh, we got it down. Let's make something up. And it's not so much that it's not that I don't like playing my own songs. I should say our own songs. It's a band song, but it's that I really want to be making something new in live time because I just feel so good. Like sometimes it's hard to get into that flow state space. Sometimes you really have to like force your way through. But once you're in there, it's like,
It's perfect.
oh, it's perfect. We're here. Everything I'm feeling is like coming out. Like I, you know, I'm singing the right notes. I'm saying good lines. Like everyone's on the same page. It's like, oh, we're here. And like, we don't know where the song is going to go, but it goes somewhere. And it's like, we're on this like journey. And that's what makes me really excited to do music, being in that creative space.
You know, it's so funny that you say that because I know a lot of musicians that there's, oh, I hate practicing. But without practice, you don't get those moments in the live. It's always been told to me, especially with improvising, it's preparedness meets opportunity.
Right. That's like
right?
they say, like luck doesn't exist. It's just being prepared and meeting the opportunity. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And that philosophy has kept me going as a pianist. I'm a pianist. I don't know if you knew that. Because I didn't like practicing. I was like every musician, don't teach me how to play hot cross buns. I want to play I want to play Viva La Vida or something like that.
Right. I mean, it's important to practice and to like understand your instrument and your craft, because it's like if you understand like music, you're like, okay, this is in the key of C. Like, okay, I know what that means. Versus like if you don't know anything, it's like, well, I don't know what to play. But if you have an idea of like how to use your thing, it opens the doors.
It opens the doors so many times. You wouldn't believe when I only started gigging it's about 2 years ago now. And whenever someone will look at me and say, go, and the feeling you get when you can't go.
Oh, yeah.
When you don't have like, I don't know scales. Well, I know scales in my head.
Right.
I don't know the fingerings.
Right.
And so it's always that moment of like, I can't do anything.
Like, I don't know what to do.
I can't. Yeah. Well, I can do octaves. I can do that. I can. I can be Louis Armstrong and play like one note different ways, right?
Right.
And just get away with like a funky, something like that. But if someone wants me to rip on a piano, good luck.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, and that has encouraged me to just dive deeper into the instrument, and it just goes to show that the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to just rip and not even think about it.
Right. It's like effortless almost. Even though you have to put in a lot of effort.
You got to put in a lot of effort. Yeah, it's an investment of time.
Right.
And as long as you know the chords and the shapes that your hands have to make, and this goes for guitar too. A lot of people don't know what they're playing on guitar. They're just doing the shapes they've memorized.
Right.
And it sounds good.
Like muscle memory.
It's muscle memory. Yeah. It's learning the spots on the neck. And then they don't think about, oh, I'm gonna hit this pentatonic scale and then bend it here. No, that's just what they've been doing all over the guitar and applying it to that key. And so you gotta learn your basic chords and shapes, please.
Right. Yeah.
If you want to grow,
start with your chords and shapes and scales and
for drummers, that's even just learning your limb independence too.
Yeah, that's a lot of like muscle memory. Like once you get it, it clicks.
But it takes a while.
It takes some time. It's like rubbing your head and like patting your stomach, whatever. I don't practice it. It's like I'm not too good at that, but it's the same concept. Once you figure it out, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. So we have a few of your songs here. I would like to play. Which one do you want to play first? You want to play Rosaline?
Yeah, let's play Rosaline. We just made a music video, and this is that song.
Tell me about the writing process for this.
The recording process for this?
Writing, recording.
Well, this is a song that my brother and I originally wrote. It was just the two of us when we got it. My brother had the do. He had that, and I was on the drums at the time. and it was just me and him, and I was like just playing drums, playing along to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I was trying to sing too, and it's like another thing on top of like trying to play and sing and do the, and I got the part that came out like, wanna change your world now. Said if you don't want it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Let's stick with it. I mean, it sounded better than that when I did
Right,
it.
of course.
So we did that, and then we just wrote some more and practiced it and just kept making it better until eventually we're like, hey, let's film this and
Mm.
record it in like one take. And
And
I
this
mean,
is
we
the
did a couple
product.
takes, and this is the product. Yeah.
Well, let's take and listen to Rosaline by the Heads or Tails Experience.
Oh yeah! Woo! Oh yeah! Wasn't looking, but you had caught my eye. You know I had to look twice. Wasn't searching when you came along. We just wrote another song. Well, I could tell by your style and the way you walk. Oh yes, it's so very special. And I could tell by your smile and the way you talk. Oh yes, you're so very special. 'Cause I wouldn't wanna change your world, no. Said you don't wanna stay for too long. You don't wanna stay for too long. Rosalie, oh Rosaline, oh Rosalie, what I need. You're supposed to be, supposed to be, supposed to me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now it's never the same with that woman now. Since everything's changed. Now it's every day with that woman now. It's never the same. 'Cause I wouldn't wanna change her, no. So you don't wanna stay for too long. You don't wanna stay for too long. Rosalie, oh Rosaline, oh Rosalie, what I need. You're supposed to be, supposed to be, supposed to me. Rosalie, oh Rosaline, oh Rosalie, what I need. I'm supposed to be, supposed to me. Yeah. Oh Rosaline, oh Rosaline, you know what I need. Oh Rosalie, you know what I need.
And that was Rosaline by Heads or Tails Experience. So tell me what. Oh. What is your primary reason for being a musician, do you think?
Well, my reason for being a musician is because I love the craft. Um, and my message in coming on this show and at this Bible college, it seems to be a good message, was well somebody asked me, so you're just really passionate. I said, yeah, I'm really passionate. And he goes, well, I wish I could be that passionate about something and have a lot of energy. And I said, well, you can. I was like, would you? Like, I'm about to grant your wish. I'm about to. He's like, do you really want that? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, we all know the creation story. In the
Mhm.
beginning, there was nothing. Then God creates the earth and the waters and the sky, and everything. He creates. Eventually, he creates man. And then, man is created to be
In
like
his
God
image, yeah.
in his image. But it's
Imago
not,
Dei.
And, you know, man and woman create more men and women, and just like your parents created you in their image. So you're like them too. And I say all that to say that we we come from a creator. We are part of creation. So we are like a creator. We have that trait in us. So we have a desire in us to create and be creative.
And not only that, but the first thing that God God tells Abraham is to go, or Adam is like to
Mhm.
go spread your seed across the
Right.
world and make it your own.
Right.
Um, and be a steward, right?
Right.
But it's in our innate. It's like the most. If humans do anything well, it's create.
Right. Yeah.
Right? For better or for worse, we are really great at creating and telling stories.
Right. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're creating a show, we're creating a message, and we're sharing stories and hoping to inspire other people to do the same thing.
And so, what did you tell that guy to do?
I said everyone has a different way of being creative, whether it's like making music, writing songs, painting, drawing, sketching, you know, be making
Teaching.
tables, teaching. Everyone has a way to be creative. And I think a lot of folks don't do that thing. And
Mm.
they're not as happy as they could be. So I was like, well, whatever that thing is for you, however you want to create, go create, because you'll feel good when you have that thing, when you have that product, when you have that finished thing. Like we make a filmmaker makes a video. Now we can watch it. Now we can put it on a DVD. Now we can hold it. It's a real thing and we can share it with people.
Absolutely. Creating is, especially if you're in a slump, just doing something, making something, writing,
Mhm.
anything will
Yeah.
will pull you right out of it, because it's so innate to the human experience to do something,
Right.
and to whether that be make a game, make
Mhm.
make a paper airplane,
Make something.
make something,
Something.
make food.
It's like
Food's great.
food. You can make food. Like it's like you build Legos. It's like people like building it and they go
Yeah.
through the process.
And what's crazy about this, the world that we live in, is that you can probably, granted, I'm not saying to make all your hobbies your main source of income,
Right.
but you can, if you want a job that's fulfilling, you can find whatever that thing is that you love to create
Mhm.
and turn that into a job. We live in that kind of world where we need carpenters,
Right.
we need teachers,
Right.
we need authors, we need musicians, we need all of these different things, and we have the infrastructure to support that.
Right.
Just create something.
Yeah. Even like even like I'm in the lawn and landscaping business. But even like lawn care, like one of my clients says to me, he's like, I don't pay you to cut my grass. I pay you to make it look good.
Right, right.
He's like, you're in the image business. And we're taking something that might not look the best and we're making it look better. And it's like the guys on my crew are like, yeah, I like doing it. I like being able to look at what it looks like, make it look better, and then look back at it. Like I made that. And we made it look good.
And not only that, but it's also really satisfying.
Yeah, yeah. Like being able to look at your work, it's just satisfying.
And well, not only that, but I don't know if you've seen like the TikToks of like all like where they had like
Oh,
the big grass and then they cut it all down, and
yeah.
it's really satisfying to watch.
Yeah, it's like my friend, he did some like power washing at my house, and I like put it on my social medias and stuff, and everyone's like, so satisfying. It's like ASMR. It's like
It's great.
people like to watch things get better,
Yeah, and so tell me, how did you get into the gardening and landscaping business, if you don't mind?
In high school, I was in the marching band, and one of my friends was like a senior when I was a freshman. He was going to college, and his dad had a landscaping company, and he was like his like string trimmer. He would like
Mhm.
be his right hand, but he's going away, and now his dad needs some help. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you help him?" And okay, like on the weekends, on like a Saturday, we go out and cut grass, and then eventually he's like, "Hey, why don't you cut a couple of the yards yourself? We borrow my mower, borrow a trimmer. You got a truck? All right." So like I went out, like did like 2 yards and made like $40 a week. And then one of the neighbors comes over. It's like, hey, can you cut my grass? I see you here every week. It's like, sure, I guess. And she's like, well, how much would you charge me to cut this grass? I was like, I don't know. Like I just I just do this for my friend. And he's like, and she's like, well, I asked, well, how much do you normally pay for something? She's like, oh, I don't know, like $40. I was like, and I'll do it for 35.
Right, right, right,
And then I
right.
started doing hers, and then the neighbor's a landlord. He's there working on the house. Hey, I got a couple properties. Can you cut these ones? And I have some in over here and everything. All right. And before you know it,
Got
I
a
start to
business
build a
going.
reputation and get a business.
That's awesome, man. You
Yeah.
still do that?
Yeah, I still do that.
Is that your main thing, or?
Yeah, that's my main thing. I tell specifically my clients, I tell them I'm in a band and stuff. I was like, yeah, it's not easy being a rock star. I got to own a lawn and landscaping company. I got to run a company. But yeah, I say that to say like that's like my main source of income.
Mm. How have you seen the things you have had to learn from your business bleed into your music, or from your music bleed into your business?
That's a really good question. That's how does my business, what I learned in business, affect the music? Well, the lawn care business is a service-based business, meaning like you have to go there and do the work to
And
get
do it
paid.
well.
Yeah, do it and do well to get paid. It's similarly a band, when you get a gig, you have to go and play the gig to get paid. Like you have
Do it
to,
well.
yeah, and do it well. True. So there's like two types of businesses. There's product-based businesses and service-based businesses. So I've been in the service business. But the product-based business is a business that is typically you can make more money faster, easier with less people. Like if you sell, like that's basically all Amazon does.
Right.
They sell products. And you can send them and move a lot of them faster than having to show up and push mow a whole yard. So as far as how does that relate to music? In music, the performance is the service.
Mhm.
And the product is like having CDs, having t-shirts, all that stuff, because you don't have to be going out gigging to make money if you make online t-shirt sales or you sell CDs. And that seems to be a way to make more money than going out and playing shows, because it's like even if you make so much money an hour, you still have to put in the hours versus
Mhm.
like with a product, you don't have to work the hours, you just have to sell the products.
Yeah, and it's always been told to me that if you want to make money as a musician, you got to make merchandise.
It's true.
And do you guys feel that you're at that level as Heads and Tails experience to make merchandise?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at any level of music, you're gonna have some fans, whether it's like
Mhm.
your mom and dad, your friends, people coming out to support you. And your friends and family do want to support you because you're doing something you love, you're good at it, you like it. So they'll support you. So like if you're just a small band or one guy playing guitar and you have like 10 of your friends showing up, if you have some t-shirts,
They'll
people will get
probably
to
buy
wear
it.
it. And
Yeah.
the nice thing about t-shirts is a lot of times people, oh, what's a t-shirt? Oh, my friend's in a band, and oh yeah, we're actually playing this Friday. Come out, and it's a good way to start a conversation.
Right. So tell me a little bit about oh, I just lost the question in my head, and it's a
It's
good one
okay.
too. Well, you are being a Heads and Tails experience. What are some things that you're looking forward to in the next coming months or year that you would love to share?
So we have a lot of shows. I have a show later today. So
Really?
yeah, I have a show later today. So I didn't cut grass today. I was like, no work on Friday. We did it all earlier. I was like, I'm gonna come here afterwards. I'm gonna go do the show.
Where's
Check
that
it
at?
out. That's in Littlestown. We're playing at Sweet Treats and Cafe, and it's a small place, so it's probably gonna be very full. But I like those kind of environments.
Yeah.
So as far as like upcoming stuff, we're working on our studio album. We have our own studio, so we're putting all the songs together, tracking it out, doing all that stuff. So we like to release that before the end of the summer. And a lot of gigs coming up, a lot of shows. Check it out at www.headsortailsexperience.com, / shows or whatever,
Absolutely, yeah.
But really what I want to do is I want to get like a RV or a van or like an old school bus and put like bunk beds in them, like a
Mhm.
three high, and just like take the show on the road and go from like Maine to Florida and like busk, play, get gigs, do open mics, see how much money we can raise, and then however much we make, come back around, go like Louisiana, New Orleans,
Yeah.
come back, hit Nashville, maybe record something there, and then come back and after we do that, We'll do it again, except we won't come back. We'll just go
Keep
to
going.
Yeah, we'll go all the way to LA and like go there. And that brings me to this question I had for you. So you've interviewed a lot of people on the show, and did one of the bios I was like, hey, could you send me an example of a bio? One of the ones you sent was like, this person went to LA and then they came back and all this stuff. A lot of my friends, when I tell people, hey, I'm thinking about moving to pursue music or whatever, they say, oh, you don't have to move. The internet changed things and yada, yada. Oh, maybe that's not the scene anymore. And some people are like, yeah, just do it. Go for it. You know, people say, just do it. And some people are like, nah, don't do it. In your experience, does your location really matter?
In my opinion,
For like what you've heard from people, you know, and everything.
well, so obviously it differs based on talent, on work ethic,
Right.
opportunity, who you know, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, especially here in Lancaster, where we have such a love for the arts,
Right.
and Harrisburg's 40 minutes, York 40 minutes, Hershey 40 minutes, New York, if you want to go that far,
Yeah.
3 hours, easily drivable. DC, Baltimore area, 2 hours. Pittsburgh, if you want to drive a little bit further, 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's a really great central spot
Right. That's what I heard too.
for all the music. I know people that are lifetime musicians that have just lived here and made it big.
Uh-huh.
And then, I mean, obviously we have our big shots from around here. You got your
Right.
Taylor Swift, your
Right.
August Burns Red,
Mhm.
Badley's, Hailstorm even.
Right. Right.
So it can be possible. What I would warn about though is that if you're a big fish here and you're gonna move to New York, LA, Nashville, the pond you're jumping into is a lot of bigger fish than you.
Yeah, right. That's true. It's like big fish in a small pond, but then a big fish in the whole ocean.
In a
Yeah.
whole ocean.
They got
Exactly
sharks.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and you gotta think about this. These are cultural hotspots for over centuries.
Yeah.
And these are music hotspots for more than decades. Some of them centuries too.
Uh-huh.
So it is going to be hard. They are cutthroat.
Right.
They're no BS. You gotta be good, and you have to have a reason to be good, and you have to know why you're good,
Uh-huh.
and you have to push for yourself more than you would have to in like small town USA.
Right.
So, in my opinion, if you're gonna go to one of these bigger cities, know you have a good product first.
Yeah. Get the product ready first.
Yeah, get your music in line first. To get all of the stuff you would need. Don't just move out there
And
on
then try
a
to
whim.
make it. Yeah.
Settle down in one area first. Establish yourself in an area first. Here we have the luxury of having the CPMAs.
Right. And that is cool. That is pretty cool. That's how we met.
That's exactly how we met. And here you can build something, get accolades from the CPMAs, and then
Right.
you have a reason to go to Nashville and say, "Hey, I am the best country singer according to the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame."
Yeah.
And or I've won this award for 2 years now. This is what I have to offer. Because bars down there, they will shake you for cash. They won't pay you as much.
Right.
And sometimes
It's like there's a lot of people there doing it.
a lot of people there doing it. A lot of tip buckets running around,
Right.
and not so great in the economy. So make sure you have your great product to take elsewhere. And like I said, if you are going to go elsewhere, bring merchandise. That's where you're
Right.
going to make most of your money.
Right. That makes sense. So you're saying stay in this area. It's a good area because it's a central area. You got Pittsburgh, you got New York, Baltimore. Everything's really close.
And even Boston's 6 hours away.
It's not that far. It's
not that
crazy. Not crazy far away. So you're saying the central location's good. Use this place as like a testing grounds, like a proving grounds. Get your product ready, solidify that, get your audience established, establish a level of credibility where you can be seen as an expert, like winning an award.
Totally forgot about Philly too. It's literally
Philly.
an hour away.
Yeah. And build up that. And then once you have that, maybe take it to a Nashville where there's a bunch of people doing it. And then if you stand out there,
then you really know.
Then you're like, we got something, and then maybe try there.
Well, not only that, but you got to know your music scene, your funk, your jazz, where you're gonna go. Obviously, you got to go to New Orleans.
Right. Oh man, I would love to do that.
That's where that scene thrives. If you're a rap hip hop artist, the scene right now is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Mhm.
Believe it or not.
Right. I believe it.
If you're a country star, obviously it's going to be
Like
Nashville,
right.
or Dallas, Houston area.
Right,
Even they
right.
have hip hop scenes down there too. So know your music and know where you're going to be mostly accepted. If you're a synthwave pop kind of guy, go to LA, go to California,
Right.
because that's the Western Coast kind of music.
Right.
If you're more of an Ed Sheeran kind of guy, or like something kind of like that pop wise, go to New York City. They're going to dig that way more.
Right.
And you know, they have their jazz and hotspots there too.
Right.
But go to where that music is well known, and then if you can prove yourself there, you can probably prove yourself anywhere.
So you're saying understand who you are, understand your genre, and understand where those genres thrive.
Understand your audience,
Yeah,
where that
understand
audience
the
is.
audience. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some solid advice.
Well, yeah, and it's because, well, if you're gonna go to if you're a country star, and granted there are scenes in LA and New York for country, but it ain't the scene,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I
it's
mean?
like not it's like not people aren't really looking for it there.
You'd be hard pressed to find a country star that's not like Jason Aldean or somebody within, you know, like Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, maybe the naked cowboy.
It,
like dude plays in his underwear with a guitar and cowboy hat, you know.
you can find a lot of those people in New York City.
Yeah. Now, folks, now to the people listening, this is some tremendous game here. This is advice you're not going to find anywhere else. So let's get those likes up, you know.
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
Well, we have another song from you guys, and a great song to be tested out on a lot of audiences and a lot of crowd work. It's the Woe song. Tell me about this one.
The Woe song. Well, it's a song we go, whoa song. It sort of like started out as like an improv song. We're like, what's this song about? We're like, it's just the Woe song. And then this specific recording was a live recording we did while we were in Ocean City. So we were busking.
Maryland.
Yeah,
Or
Ocean
New
City,
Jersey,
Maryland. And we were busking on the boardwalk and we played this song and this lady came out and she was just having a lot of fun with the band. And then the King's French Fries guy, Horsey, he comes out in a king costume. And it just became a big old party on the boardwalk. And we went like almost seamlessly from Woe song into Get Up Jump. And you can feel it's a party, especially in between these two songs. And that's what I like the most.
Well, let's take a listen to Woe song.
We're here tonight. Today's your last day to see us here. Tomorrow we're packing it up and going back home. But while we're here, we're gonna have a good old time. We'll play some original music.
We keep on making awesome music. Yeah. People keep on walking by. What you about to say is we got
sweaty. Hands
Where can people find you at? You mentioned your website a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's right. You can find us on all of the major social media platforms, except for Twitter. We're not on Twitter. But you can find us.
Twitter's in a great spot for
Yeah.
bands anyway.
You can find most of our stuff at headsortailsexperience.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Check out our website first.
Yeah, right.
It's a good spot.
All those links will be on your website.
Yeah,
too.
they'll all be on the website.
So, a few questions that I got for you that I like to ask all my guests. First off, as a brother in faith, what is worship to you? Where do you find yourself most in tune with God?
That's a good question. You know, I feel like there's a bunch of different ways to pray. Sometimes it's like in the morning, you just wake up. God, thank you for this day. Give him, it's a blessing to wake up and another opportunity today. Sometimes it's like when I step outside for the first time, it's just like, look out. It's like nice. It's cool. And it's like no clouds. It's like, it's going to be a good day. Thank you, God. Thank you just for giving me this like beautiful day, this beautiful life. And I feel like a lot of prayer comes from like a lot of times when I experience like feeling grateful, a lot of times it's like thanks. A lot of times, I mean, I usually pray before I eat, God, thank you for this food, giving us this time together and, anything I'm just thinking about at the time. And I usually do that even if I'm eating with friends. I know sometimes like it might make my friends a little uncomfortable. Like they're not used to praying. It's like, hey, let's say prayer real quick. They're like eating a fry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. So I do that. And like in church, sometimes I pray. Well, I mean, in church we do pray. It's like, and Easter just happened, and the thing was like, I feel like another big part of prayer is asking for forgiveness and accepting that. Like, I got into a fight with some of my friends. I got into a fight with my girlfriend, and it was bothering me very, very deeply. And I just wanted to say, like, and I told my friends, "Hey, guys, I'm sorry we got in a fight. I didn't mean to do that. Like, let's try to do better next time because that's what we can do. Trial, error, adjustment, try again.
Right.
And specifically with my old lady, we got into it pretty big, and she's like, "Oh, I'm done. I can't move on." And I was like, "Oh," and it was bothering me. It was still a work in process, but it was bothering me, and I just wanted to felt forgiven. I wanted to be like, "Hey, it's okay. Like, whatever. Like, I forgive you." And I wasn't having that. And in church, it's Easter. We do the whole thing on Thursday and all this stuff. And the pastor's like, "Okay, come up now and we'll give you forgiveness." It's like, all right. And like, I'm sitting in the front and like, no one's going up. And I was like, I turn back, look around, look at some of my friends. And go ahead, go up there. I was like, all right, fine. And
it's always like the most nerve-wracking thing when you're in church when you have to, but it's like you're the first one.
Yes, I go up there and I kneel and I'm like, "Pastor, I wore my knee pads. I was ready for this." And he's like pushes the oil on my forehead and he's like, Jesus died for you, you're forgiven. And then I go back to my seat and I was just like thinking about what that meant. And it took me a second to like accept it. And I saw all these old folks coming up and, one by one, they're kneeling and pastor saying, "Oh, you're forgiven. You're forgiven." And I was like, "Man, what do these old people do? Like, like, what are they doing wrong?" And I just, at that moment, I felt forgiven. And it's like, that was the feeling that I was seeking. And I just sat there and I just started crying. Church, I was like, "Oh man, I hope people are looking at me." So, and that's one thing I started doing more is just like, not only thank you, God, for giving me this life, for these opportunities, in the studio, like so many times I hear people say, "Yo, we got everything we need, man." Like from other people. I'm not even like inspiring these thoughts. People are saying like, "Yeah, we got everything we need." And it's just like being thankful for that. And, in my prayers now, it's like, God, forgive me my sins, forgive me these things I'm doing wrong. And to ask for that. And sometimes you have to like accept it. Like when you get in a fight with someone and you say, "I'm sorry," like you have to mean it. Like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this thing." and they're like, hey, it's not okay, but I
It's
forgive,
all
like I
good.
forgive
We're
you.
going
It's
good.
good. Let's move
Yeah.
on. And that weight being lifted off your chest is a big part of prayer and connecting with God.
And that's when you feel most in tune.
I guess. I mean, sometimes singing it feels like the flow state, but I don't know if I would call that like prayer. And then
Or like
sometimes
worship.
I don't know if I call it worship because I'm not.
Mm.
It's not like I'm singing.
Right,
Like,
right.
you
Of
know what I
course.
mean? Like
Right.
I'm like maybe technically we're like a Christian band or something, but it's not like that's what our.
That's not your MO.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, we're just mostly about like being funky and having a good old time. But I guess during prayers when I feel most connected to God.
So on a sillier note, the next question that I have is what is one of the worst or funniest things that's ever happened to you guys like on stage?
Um. Okay. Worst or funniest? Here's one that's a little bit of both. One time we were busking on the Ocean City boardwalk, and this like older drunk lady, older. I mean, she wasn't that, maybe like middle ages, and she's been drinking, so she was a little drunk. But she's like walking up, she was dancing with us, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then she like started touching us. It's like, ugh. It's like we're in the middle of a song. Like, what are we supposed like? It's like, all right, hey, it's like in the middle of a performance, so it makes everyone a little uncomfortable. So that kind of sucked. And then like probably it was like funny. It was kind of funny, kind of uncomfortable. But the worst thing, in my opinion, that's ever happened on stage, we mess up a song here,
Right.
there.
Yeah.
That's no big deal.
That's
That's
no big
normal.
deal. That's normal.
And I like one thing we established with the band after this is like, hey, when we're on stage, even if we're not playing, we're still performing. Like when we're like from a job point of view, it's like when we're on the job site, we're performing. When we're at the
Mm-hmm.
place, we're performing. When we walk in, it's part of the performance. And we did this one gig, it was a grand opening, and this one lady, I knew she worked there, but I didn't know. The other band might not, the guys might not have known. But she comes up, she's like, can I say something? Can I say something? Sure. I know she works there. But the other band guys are like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you're giving up stage control. And she's like, it's fine. Just let her say a couple of things. She's like, I just want to thank you guys for coming out here and having fun. I was like, woo, yeah. And when you get the crowd applause, it's like, oh man, and then she said something else, and then it's like, okay. And then she said something else, and it's just like going down. I was like, all right. So eventually, I'm like, guys, play some music. Get something going. Okay, something. I get the mic. Oh yeah, thanks. Shout out to her for something. Yeah, okay. Anyway, next song, and we get done. We play our show. We get done, and we're still standing up there, getting ready to pack up. And and like one of the band members comes up. He's like, I just want to say, like this is like still a kind of crowd. He's like, when you like gave that lady the mic, that was like idiotic. And like he's like starts like going into me a little. And I was like, oh, like, dude, like we're like in front of people. And then he's like, you like want to get like these security guys to keep people off stage, but what's the point if you're just gonna give people the mic? And then like he's like, like what are they gonna? He started like pushing me a little bit, like touching my chest, and I was like, oh, like in a confrontation mixed with a physical thing. I was like in front of people, I was like, oh, like I feel like like I said, like it's looking bad. I'm being like disrespected in front of people, and I just went like stone face. I was like, I'm not letting him move me. I'm just gonna stay right here and hold it. And then and it just started escalating a little bit. He's like, you can't be doing this. And then my brother's like, he steps in. And my brother's really good at like taking control of a situation, and I really like, he's like, yo, guys, that lady was the owner of this place. So if she came up on stage and said, shut it down, we would have shut it down. He's like, well, right now we got to pack up. So let's get this stuff packed up. And that was probably the worst thing that's ever happened on stage. Am I like so far? Because it was like
it was just so tense.
It was very tense in front of people, like, and in a place, like afterwards, I felt a little off with that person. It was like something was like things weren't okay, and it's weird to be tense in a place where we're supposed to be so
Relaxed,
loose and free and open and to express ourselves creatively, and that created. It was just really tough for a while, and I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this music thing with this guy anymore. And Eventually, we worked it through.
Oh
we
yeah,
talked about it.
and it just goes to show, make sure your bandmates know who's the owner, and make
right
sure
of
who's running the
place.
joint.
Yeah, you gotta like, and then we're trying to do a better job of that. But I say that to say that like, we were talking about being tense when we had like, look, we just need to talk about this. When we were
Right.
talking to each other, the conversation was really tense.
Mm.
And I referenced this earlier. I was like, "Do you feel like this tightness?" And he's like, "Yeah, I
Was that
feel
same
it."
guy?
Yeah, the same guy. And he's like, "Yeah, I feel it." And like we just stood there and we were just talking in circles. And I'm like, "So like, look, us standing here talking like isn't gonna fix anything."
Right.
It's like, "So what do we got to do?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe like do some more gigs, go on some more missions, and I don't know, probably just
Cool
work it
heads
out."
a little bit.
Yeah, cool heads, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. And our bond's stronger. And it's like. I heard something the other day about like these, and this is sort of like these guys were growing trees indoors, but the trees wouldn't make it. And they're like, why do these trees suck? We have everything perfect. Like we have all the right conditions, but they weren't thinking about the wind. And what the wind does,
it strengthens the
it
tree.
strengthens it. It makes the roots stronger. It makes the tree
Yeah.
stronger. So same thing about like maybe like fights, if you want to call it, with people. You shouldn't be picking fights, but inevitably you're going to get into arguments and stuff with people. So
Yeah.
people are going to clash
It
heads.
happens.
But that's what's going to make your bond stronger, moving on and moving past that.
Yeah, absolutely. If your first thing after a fight is to like run away from that person, you're not. The human experience isn't complete without conflict and resolution.
That's a good point. It's well said.
There's always going to be conflict, and it's your job to make sure that there's a resolution to that. And granted, there are cases where you should just get out of there.
Right.
That's
sometimes you just got to walk away.
Sometimes you just got to walk away, and that's okay. But if it's something that you're like committed to, like a band, a partner, or whatever, if it's like you'll look back at it and be like, "Oh, that was such a stupid thing. Why did I ever?"
Why did we make such a big deal?
Yeah, and so you cannot run away from those things.
Right.
You got to just sit with it, deal with it, and it's okay. Things go up and down all the time. As long as the overall, you got to look at the bigger picture. You can't look at the moments.
Yes, that's true. Well, right. You asked me what's something I'm looking forward to in the upcoming months. We're working on this song called Martian Man, Planet. And it's about the idea of like, hey, Earth is like really bad. Let's just go to Mars and make a new planet and start a new civilization rather than trying to just fix Earth's problems. Like it's the runaway Martian man mentality. And you're a Martian man if you think you can run away. Like you said, part of the human experience is that conflict and resolving those conflicts.
As I say, if all we're gonna do is run away from Earth's problems, we're gonna create the same problems on Mars.
Right, your problems are just gonna follow you. You got to solve them. It's like weeds. Gotta
get rid of the roots.
You got to get them from the root. You can't just cut them off because they'll come back stronger every time.
So, you're Javier Sandoval of the Heads and Tails Experience. Be sure to check you out at
headsandtailsexperience.com.
My name is Corey Rosen. This is the Story Podcast. We got one more song for you, but before that, I'm going to go into a little spiel about what we got going on here because we're going to end it off after this last song. So this is the Story Podcast. Like I said, you can find out all about me and what I do at CoreyRosenProductions.com. That's CORYROSEN Productions.com. This week, we have a very filled week coming up. This Sunday, we have our first ever a little award show where we're giving little accolades to the bands around here that I believe deserve it. Because the way you establishing yourself in an area, you got to get accolades and stuff like that. So that's one way I want to help establish bands in the area that, on a smaller scale. I know the CPMAs is a wonderful job, but I like more awards the better. Mm-hmm. There's no competition. There's only opportunity here, and I would like to give more of that. So it's going to be a 4-hour thing over at Switchboard Studios that is in Columbia, PA, right above the Columbia Kettleworks there. It's going to be running from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. There's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. There's going to be a whole lot of fun, a lot of great musicians there. And we're going to be having a 1-hour jam session afterwards. So you can get to meet up and play with some really cool people that you might not have otherwise had a chance to. This Monday, we got Joe Castro from the Mighty Joe Castro and the Graveyardmen. And he's an old rockabilly kind of guy bringing it into a new age. So he's not old. but the style is old. The rockabilly back into the 2020s. So I'm really excited to talk to him about that and what is he doing to revitalize the style. And then on Thursday we're having LBC's own Matt Wheeler. He's from the financial department, I do, or student resources department. That's what I think. And he does some music around here, and I'm really excited to talk to him and dive really deep into the music he does. This Friday, we've got nothing. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it for this festival. I thought it was more packed.
That sounded pretty packed.
Well, you have
the awards and jam session sounds like a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for that. It's my first ever event that I'm putting on, so it's a lot of new learning process for me. So I'm still excited. I'm really happy with the product that I'm going to be putting on. So I would really appreciate it if you showed up, and it's going to be a precursor for a lot more events that we have coming up, including our singer-songwriter rounds that we're starting to put up into production. The first one of those is May 1st with good friends of the shows, Liam Galliano, Anthony Paracini, and Ronnie Schenk, where the goal is to create a song within an hour. And if you want to be a part of that, you can go over to CoreyRosenProductions.com/podcasts, and it'll be there along with our services. We also do single and album reviews just to give you a little bit more exposure and just a little bit of feedback of what we think about your new music. So if you want to apply to that, go through our website. We have your theme song now to play. Right. Tell me about this. What was
Well, this theme song, I like to think I gave birth to this idea. We were called the Heads or Tails Experience. We established our name. And one day I was driving in my car, and previously I had been recording just funky vocals by myself in the studio, which I normally don't do. But I was I had this funky feeling and these funky voices. And I was driving my car to the studio one day. I was like, Heads or Tails Experience. My voice is a little shot right now, but I had this idea. I brought it to Ben. I said, look, I got this song. Diego goes like this, there. And he's like, okay. So he starts to, and we get the band. I'm talking to Caden. He's our bass player. I was like, yeah, let's play the Heads or Tails Experience. So he's like, I don't even know what that song is. I'm like, just do it. We're going to play it out. We're going to play it anyway. And we would play unfinished songs out, and just those unfinished parts, hey, let's improv this. And I remember the first time we played it at the Public House in Hanover. And I look at the man in the front row. I was like, well, I want to thank you for coming out. And he started smiling. And I was like, you're coming into a show, yeah. And I was like, okay, this feels good. Mm-hmm. And we usually close our show with this song, and it's a lot of fun. And this recording again is from our Ocean City trip when we were busking. It's a lot of fun. It's a theme song. We usually play it at the end of every show. So kind of our encore song. In fact, I want to start encouraging the crowd to boo us right before we play this song, because we're like, folks, that's it. That's the whole show. And they're like, oh, come on, one more song. Oh, let's do group huddle. And we'll group huddle up. And then we turn around. We're like, all right, fine, we'll play our theme song. But I want to switch it up and go all right, sorry guys, we're actually gonna go home. And then oh, boo, boo. Hey, come on, bud. We just played a whole set. We're tired. Boo.
Make a whole bit out of it. Yeah.
I just get booed so hard. And then we'll play this song right afterwards.
Well, this is the Heads or Tails Experience theme song. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and check out the Heads or Tails Experience. We'll see you guys later.
That's right. Oh, come on.
for coming out here tonight on the boardwalk and walking around and having a good time and listening to the music and supporting our band. And you know, I'd just like to thank all these awesome shops across the street from us. And the people of Top Eating Pizza, I want to thank them too. Because everyone's just been so nice here today. We've made so many friends. And I'm just grateful for that. And folks, when you're walking on the boardwalk later, or you're driving home, or you're in the room and you're trying to go to sleep, and you're thinking to yourself, you're thinking, wait a minute. You're thinking, wait a minute. You're thinking, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, seriously, guys, wait a minute. You're thinking, wait a minute. What's the name of that band? Remember this. Thank you so much, folks. We're the Heads and Tails Experience.